So our main goals for social media, obviously, are for brand awareness, obviously to engage current new donors, volunteers, event participants, event managers, to promote all of our events and programs as much as possible. We have so many events throughout the year that we're hoping that people, especially in this region, are interested in going to and attending. But we also use it as a customer service. There's so many questions, crazy questions you would not believe that come in, and I have to kind of figure out the right people to go and vet those questions to. And last, we use it as a way to increase traffic to our website. There are months in the year that Facebook especially is the number 2 or 3 referral to our website, so that's huge. Thank you to whoever turned on the lights. I can actually finish my presentation. So just a brief overview of the networks that we are on. I probably spend about 80% of my time just with Facebook and Twitter. That's where we've seen the most results in terms of clicks and impressions and reposts and whatnot. But we have a group on LinkedIn. We do have a YouTube channel that anytime we have something to post, we will post it there and promote it. We are on Foursquare. We don't do a lot with Foursquare. We're still trying to figure out, what's the best fit for some location-based promotions. But we are on Foursquare. We're doing some things here and there. We're on Jumo. When Jumo started, it seemed like a great fit for nonprofits. I have not seen anything really worthwhile with that. We've had 17 followers on that page since we started it 8 months ago. We have it, our Facebook status updates basically just populate the feed for the Jumo account. So it's not a completely dead account, but I'm not doing very much work there. Then, of course, we're on a bunch of third-party fundraising sites, like Facebook Causes and Razoo and CrowdRise. All of those accounts automatically will set up an account if you have a 501(c)(3). So if you are a nonprofit with a 501(c)(3), I would strongly suggest going to those accounts and claiming your account, claiming your page, because if someone else is the admin that maybe doesn't represent your organization, it would be good to claim that page. It's there anyway. You can't take it down, so I would claim it as the nonprofit. So I talked a little bit about all the different business units and the events and programs that we have. So for each of those, for most of those, we have created fan pages for each of those. So we have on Facebook, we have around 11 fan pages, including our main Jimmy Fun page, which has about 26,000 followers. And then we have all these smaller ones. We just created them in January, and we're kind of at a point where we'll probably take a full year and reevaluate whether it's necessary to have all of them or if some of them can be dissolved. So that's kind of what we're thinking now. Like each business unit wanted their own presence, but it doesn't necessarily make the most sense for all cases. So we're kind of looking at that. An overview of the systems and technologies that I use. Anybody who is in this position knows that you could not do this job without a lot of help from a lot of different technologies or systems. So the first thing is we built out an editorial calendar, which I would highly suggest if you don't have already. Especially for us, we have so many different programs that we are posting and promoting on different pages and different content, and so it's really helpful to have one place that says, this is the content that's going in this location at this time during this week, and really have it all planned out so that you don't have a page that's completely stagnant one week and then 15 posts the next week. So just trying to get continual posting to those accounts. So an editorial calendar is really helpful. The back end of that editorial calendar is all of the, that's where I track the impressions and the clicks for each of those things. So it also acts as kind of an ROI at the end of the month. I can pull a report and see which tweets got the most action. Is it the content? Is it the time of day? So you can start to analyze the data once you have it all in one place. Tracking documents. I started probably about a year ago. I started setting up our tracking documents, and I would say, the longer you have historical data of this type of stuff, the more helpful it is. So we have documents that track our follower growth for all of our different pages, or for our Twitter account, or for our LinkedIn group. So you can see month to month, when are we seeing the most growth, and what did we do in that month to see that type of growth. We also do a web traffic per social media. So how many web hits did we get from Facebook last month, from Twitter? What was that compared to last July? So you start to see trends, and you can start to see dips and reasons why things are happening. You know, social media, there's so much to do, and it's so much work to do all this posting and the shortening the URLs, and it's time consuming, and if you're not evaluating the work that you're doing, then it's kind of for nothing. So I would strongly suggest, you know, really trying to put some systems around what your goals are, and figuring out how you can do ROI against that, and then track that and tweak things as, you know, you see fit. Other technologies, I probably use 10 different systems in a day. Unfortunately, there's not one software that's going to do everything that I need it to do. I don't think there ever will be, because, you know, what I need as an individual or for my organization can be very different than what somebody else needs. So I think that there's never going to be a software that's kind of the end-all be-all. So I think it's finding a toolkit of softwares and technologies that works for the things that you're trying to accomplish. So the first thing for me is a dashboard. I don't think that I could ever monitor Twitter without Hootsuite or a dashboard similar to it. I pretty much never go to twitter.com. I have people come into my office and they see my screen with my Hootsuite up, and they're like, what is that? Like, I've never seen anything like it. So, you know, in a stream you can have 10 columns, and then I probably have, you know, 8 streams set up, so that's 80 columns worth of information that I, you know, not all of it am I tracking all the time, but it's, you know, all stuff that is relevant to my industry. I can do searches on, you know, different types of cancer and engage in that conversation if necessary. Obviously tracking all of our events, all of our programs, engaging with people who have said that they're walkers in our events, or so there's a lot you can do to monitor your brand way beyond responding to @replies or direct messages. To that end, there is a company, I don't know if anyone's heard of it, 140. Has anybody heard of 140? So, yeah, they're actually out of Cambridge, and they do have their own software, which I have not used myself. But the second part of what they do is evaluate all these different systems. So if you're looking for a dashboard and you're just, you know, kind of stuck where to start, it's a really good website where you can go and read reviews about all the different ones that are available and what the pros and the cons are. And they also have, you know, people say this is a toolkit that I use to accomplish my work, and they'll list all of the different softwares that they use. It's a really helpful tool. Keep it down back there. The last thing, I don't even know how I'm doing on time, I'm probably really fast. Breezing?
Lazy.
Uh-oh, too fast?
No, it's fine. We'll ask more questions.
Should I tell you about my family? The last thing that I was going to talk about is, you know, social media is a moving target, and to stay ahead of what's going on can be a full-time job. And I find myself spending quite a bit of time trying to figure out, okay, what's the next big thing, or what can we focus on next, or should I be focusing on this? And so one thing that I definitely do is, are people familiar with Google Reader? Do people use Google Reader? Good. I use Google Reader like every day. I'll go in and, you know, go through my social media folder, scroll through and see if I see any topics that are, you know, reoccurring, see any trends. And that's how I actually came across Google+. So now I'm, you know, playing with Google+, seeing if when they set up brand pages, if it's a good fit for the Jimmy Fund, but playing with it personally and then, you know, implementing it professionally if I see it's necessary. But I spend a lot of time in Google Reader just trying to keep up on all the stuff because it is changing constantly. And webinars and seminars. I probably sign up for, you know, 4 webinars a week. I don't have time to go to all of those. I probably go to 1 a week. But then at the very least, I get all the materials from that webinar, and I can reference back to them if I need, to get more information on a particular topic. And then lastly, just follow people who are already doing this really well. You all have your own industries, and you all have the people that are leaders in your industries, and follow those people and see what they're doing. Don't copy them necessarily, but know what they're doing and work off of that. There are definitely a lot of amazing people that this is exactly what they do full-time. They're social media people for nonprofits. So, like Chris Brogan and Beth Cantor and companies like Common Knowledge and Social Bright, they're all amazing, amazing companies and people who, if you read something, chances are they've already written free blog posts about it, and, you can go to them. So just, don't reinvent the wheel. Don't spend a lot of time doing what other people have already done for you. So, social media is an amazing tool, but it's part of kind of what you said in the beginning, Tim. It's part of a bigger mix. It can't be done in a silo. It has to be done as part of your whole marketing plan or PR plan. Donors give to organizations that they know, like, and trust, and it takes time to build that trust. So this is an avenue to start that conversation with people. So that's it.
Sure. Selfish, I'm going to ask the first question because this is my what nonprofits inspired? Other one, I know obviously the Jimmy Club inspires you. Like, do you see any other, either nationally or internationally, that you're like, oh, I love that they did that, or whether you can be very specific or just broad. You've seen stuff that really lives your mind.
Yeah, the first thing that comes to mind is Live Strong.
Live Strong?
Yeah, and I know that's one because of the connection to cancer. But they do some amazing, amazing viral things, and they're very, very creative with what they do, and they're very passionate about the cause. They're very clear about what their cause is, their social media is outstanding. So, for sure on that level, that's the first one. Yeah.
Anyone else have a question? You're getting shot right up.
Sorry. Hi, Jenna from Likeable Media. I was actually just wondering, what are your strategies on each platform? Because each platform kind of serves a different purpose. And then how do you determine kind of what's big and what's not going to be big? I.e., like, is Instagram good? Is Google Plus going to stay? Kind of, how do you make those determinations?
What was the first part? Sorry.
Strategies
I focused on Google Plus.
Yeah, sorry. Strategies for each platform.
Yeah, so we definitely don't, use Hootsuite and put the same message on all platforms. Like, that's just not going to work. So we know the content that we want to push, and we tailor it for the different platforms. And sometimes it's not appropriate for all the platforms. So if it's just Facebook, it's just Facebook. If it's Facebook and Twitter, we just tailor it to the, it's a little bit more informal. You can put more information when it's on Facebook. So. And then to the what's next, I think just reading those industry leaders and seeing what they're saying about Google Plus or what the next big thing is. I mean, it was obvious from Mashable and TechCrunch and all these places, they were all jumping on board. I mean, Chris Brogan, who's a huge social media guy, his profile picture on his Facebook page was "I've moved," and it was a Google Plus logo. And this is before Google Plus is even public. It's still invite only. And it's the fastest growing social network ever.